Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Shagalinku TV. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and for the next couple of minutes, we'll be talking to some adolescents and also a partner from Global Fund for Children to share more lights with us on the program that is coming up in West Africa, talking about the Adolescent Girls Summit that will be holding in Liberia. Anyway, I have my guests here, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll come back and ask them a few more questions. And we're also expecting Lady Ame. As soon as she comes, she will also join us. Hi, Favor. How are you doing? Favor, can you unmute? Okay, let's take Francis, and then we'll come back to Favor. How are you doing, Francis?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the program. I'd like you to introduce yourself. Tell us the country you're representing and what you do.
Well, I'm Francis Emmanuel Ensa from Sierra Leone, an adolescent working with women against violence and exploitation in society. In short, WAVES. Um, I'm a child rights activist and ambassador for my organization. I do love advocate on behalf of girls' rights.
Thank you so much. It's good to have you here, and I hope we'll have very good discussions. So, Favor, if your network is back, can you let us know where Favor, whose country you're representing, and then a bit of your introduction? Hello, Favor. You have to unmute.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you. Yeah.
go on, please.
Sorry, I did not get you.
Yeah, we're
Can you
doing
go?
general introduction. I'd like you to introduce your name, what organization you represent, the country you also represent. These are the things we need.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Favor No. I'm from Child and Youth Protection Foundation, CYPF, and I'm from Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Favor. Um, I think we have Lady Ame here right now, so I'll bring her in so that she can do her introductions as well. Good morning, ma'am. Good to see you.
Good morning, Emmanuel, and thank you for this opportunity to talk about the Adolescent Girls Summit. So my name.
Oh, she's gone off. Let's have you back. Um, okay, go on,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right. So I am the co-regional director for Africa, and I work with Global Fund for Children. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes, before I let you go, I still need you to do a little more introduction. You've been doing a lot for the adolescent. I know we'll still talk about that as the program progresses. But what's the passion for you? Because aside just working for GFC, we can see that passion, the motherly figure you play for these adolescents and all of that. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, the future of Africa is actually the young people, and particularly the adolescent. And I'm passionate about the adolescent, especially the adolescent age within the youth, because that's the time when you go through a lot of issues, a lot of challenges. There's the transition from the child to the adulthood, and a lot of adolescents are faced with so many issues, but they don't know who to talk to. They don't know where to go for help. And it's a big demographic that we need to pay attention to. If we don't catch them young, it will be very difficult for us to ensure the development of Africa. So I'm passionate about the adolescent because I believe that the adolescents are the future of Africa.
Thank you so much, Ma. It's good having you, and I know I will still bring you in between the discussions to still talk more about your organization and all of that. Okay, so let me come to I'll ask Favor and Francis now their opinion. We realized that the International Women's Day was held recently, and a whole lot of activities happened, and that brings us to how important the Adolescent Girls Summit is also happening in the International Women's Month. For you, Favor, how do you think that adolescent girls can be included in decision making? Because every time we hear about women empowerment, there's really no space where they talk more about the girl child education, even the female genital mutilation that happens, even gender-based violence that happens amongst young girls. So how do you think adolescent issues, adolescents themselves can also be included in issues that affect them?
Okay, that is a very interesting question. So I think that adolescent girls can be included in decision making process if they are given an opportunity to take the lead role, because when it comes to making decisions, and the adults are the ones making decisions, most times decisions made concerning the adolescent girls are made based on facts, statistics, and data. And I believe adolescent girls go through more than what is shown most times in the data. And sometimes it might not be intentional, but the decisions they make are sometimes unfavorable to the adolescent girls. So I believe that if we want to involve adolescent girls in decision making process, then we have to bring them to the lead role. What are you actually going through? I believe the adolescents themselves will be able to resonate better with their fellow adolescent girls and understand how to address certain issues and make the right decisions to suit and bring out a comfortable and make a comfortable well-being. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me come to Francis. What do you have to say about this as well? Favor has really made a critical suggestion that yes, it might be that it's not out of intentions not to include adolescents or the young girls, but as an adolescent young man, what do you think we can also do to incorporate decision making when it comes to young girls?
Yeah, as an adolescent, a young advocate, that's right. I think the best thing we can do as young men or young boys is to change the mindset of boys being superior over girls, try to change the traditional norms about girls, and try to advocate on behalf of them, like working together with them, helping them in terms of advocacy, try to know the bad effect of things they have been through, and try to see how best we can support them in order for them to reach the goal they are about to reach.
Okay, thank you, Francis. You might need to also be a little bit audible so we can hear you. I did say I was going to bring back Lady Ame to talk with us about a few things. But quickly, ma'am, if you can see some of these messages on the screen, you might help us read some of them. And this is to also say if you're just joining us and you have any comments or opinions on the topic we're doing today, you can drop your comments in the comment section and we'll be reading them. We're having our guest, Favor from Nigeria, Francis from Sierra Leone, and Lady Ame from Liberia. Ma, did you see this one from Judith Itwa? You could just quickly read it for us.
Uh, you asking me? So well done, sir.
Yes.
More grease to your elbow.
Okay, this is from Judith Itwa in Kano. Please read this one before I go on to ask you the next question. This is from someone in Abuja, our headquarters in Nigeria here.
Yeah, the person is greeting. So Julius Yimba is saying good morning to everyone this morning. It looks like they are all interested in the subject this morning.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I'll quickly read this one here. It's from Oche Courage, and it's saying, "Good morning, everyone." And I will come back again. So, the 2024 edition of West Africa Adolescent Girls Summit will be holding next week. I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about it, and then what we should be looking forward to.
Good. So Global Fund for Children is uh, a public foundation that supports community-based organizations that are working with children, adolescents, and youth. In Africa, we like to focus on the rural areas or where the marginalized populations are. So we gave we provided support to community-based organizations in Liberia and Sierra Leone to end violence against girls. And we provide not only financial support, but also capacity development support. And we support the organization to actually achieve their goal. And the goal is actually to see that children, adolescents, and young people have their rights realized. So for this initiative in Liberia and Sierra Leone, we observed that although the organizations talk a lot about empowering girls, when we meet the girls, they weren't really expressing themselves. So we decided to look at how can we really create the space for the adolescent girls to build their leadership capacity, to be able to defend their own rights. And that's where the idea of organizing a regional Adolescent Girls Summit came about. And before it started, there was a DEX review that our technical partner Yosel did, where the young people were consulted, especially the adolescent girls. So they raised few issues. They said, yes, we don't feel that we have the space, and the space often when there is a conference or a meeting, a seminar, it is the adults who plan everything, who talk everything. Is like we just come as a decoration. So if we want to go on this journey, we would like to be the one leading and truly leading, that the partners and the adults around us should give us the space. The second thing is that they said, well, if we really want gender equality, then we need to bring the boys on board, because there's no way they can achieve, or we can all achieve gender equality if we don't have the boys, because the boys are usually also raised with social norms that tell them the woman is the weaker sex, a girl can be more intelligent than you, all those things. So if you work only with the girls and you don't change the mindset, as Francis was saying, you won't be able to achieve the gender equality. So based on those two things, they also talk about involving the parents in all this in the process. So that's how the idea came, and we and the partners decided, okay, then we will support you in organizing the first pilot Adolescent Girls Summit. And that was the adolescent from Liberia and Sierra Leone. That's when the first edition started in 2022. And when it happened, the Ethiopia also joined, few girls from Ethiopia joined for the first edition. And when after the first edition, we realized that the 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 process was truly empowering. The young people who came out of the summit became very bold. They gained confidence. They are now aspiring for leadership position. They are working with their communities to change gender norms. Those who came from communities where there was female genital cutting, for example, and thought that it was their culture, discovered that no, actually their rights were being
Violated.
violated. So they went back to their communities and they became so bold, challenging the social norms that are affecting their rights. So we saw that changes, and when we consulted them about what's the way forward, they proposed that we should support them to expand the Adolescent Girls Summit, and that's how this 2024 edition is happening, with more countries from West Africa adolescent joining them.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I look forward to also joining in and really hearing firsthand from the adolescents. And thank you for the good work you are doing, Ma. And thanks once again to GFC, So I bring in Favor. I hope Favor is still here. I'll bring in Favor, and I'd like to ask her one or two questions. And then I'll also bring in Francis. So, Favor, you heard Lady Ame talked about a whole lot of issues and why the summit is holding. I'm also happy that you are one of the adolescent delegates from Nigeria, and we're looking forward to you representing Nigeria, So, on a scale, what are those issues that adolescent girls and young girls face the most in West Africa? I know Lady Ame had talked about genital mutilation, even as little as the girl child education. We still find a lot of parents who would rather still send a male child to school than a girl child, and they say when the girl child goes to school, she gets married to a man and changes her name and all of that. So what are the challenges and the issues that the adolescent girl and the young girls face?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So in Nigeria, where I come from, we have a lot of prevalent issues. And when we met at the regional meeting in Monrovia last year, December, and we're having discussion, I realized that a lot of issues that we face here in Nigeria is something that was very common in other countries in West Africa. And most of the prevalent issues were first, lack of comprehensive sexual education. So we had adolescents who shared their stories about how they have no idea about what comprehensive sexual education is. And some of them even said that comprehensive sexual education is not taught in the schools because it is considered abominable. And for us who were privileged to attend schools that were taught sexual education, we end up just learning about abstinence. We also have cases of teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy is a critical issue that affects most adolescent girls in West Africa. We also have early and child marriage. Funny as this may sound, there are still girls who are still given as brides as a child, as a young adult, to get married. So we still have cases of, and lastly, we have cases of female genital cutting, like Ahmed said. So female genital cutting is still very much of an issue, although in as much as they are trying to advocate against female genital cutting, they are still trying to make it available to young girls, and that is also one of the issues that adolescent girls face in West Africa. So there are many other issues, but the issues I listed here are what really affects every adolescent girl. Thank you.
Yes, still staying on you, Favor. I'll still like to ask you one more question before I move to Francis to hear his own side of what we need to do. What do you think about the girl child education? Because it's strange how even when they are still tilting her on what to study, moving towards STEM and making sure that young girls are also part of STEM. How do you think we should also talk to parents in terms of female or the girl child education rather? Because like you said, strangely as it might sound, girls are still given as child bride. So where's the place of education where parents don't just say, okay, you Favor, please go and read mass comm, while your brother, who you know you are even more intelligent than, is forced to read medicine, and at the end of the day he gets depressed, goes into drugs because he cannot cope, and you also might get depressed because your flair or your course selection might be tilting to medicine or sciences.
So your network was a little, it was breaking a little. Can you go over the question again? Sorry.
Okay, but you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I said, just to still stay back on you, what do you think about the girl child education? Because I know you talked about girls being still given as a child bride and all of that. Because how can parents or families still stay back in helping girls to gain education and also letting them study courses they want to, because it's not just enough to say, okay, a girl go to school and then her course selections might be tilting towards STEM or sciences, and then they say, no, go and read banking. If you are too well read, you might not get a husband to marry. Everything about the girl child is packaged towards marriage, and they're not leaving her to be a human being and a woman.
Okay, thank you very much. This your question reminds me of a conversation I was having yesterday with a friend. So we realized that in as much as we are trying to advocate for girl child education, there are still will I call it a mindset or stereotypes that affects girl child education. Like you said about a girl child studying science, and as a girl child, if you say you're studying mechanical engineering or you want to study mechanical engineering, brows will be raised. Same goes for the male gender. So we cannot go and be like, you cannot stand up against your parents. You know how African parents can be like. But in my own opinion, I do not think I just believe that any girl child who wants to who wants to study and who wants to go to school, and your parents are trying to like choose courses for you or trying to like package you to be a husband, it's not something we can easily change, especially if you're a child from that family. But I believe that all you have to do is try to prove them wrong. I'm not saying like drop out from school and I'm like I want to go into STEM and all that. Yeah, there are lots of parents who always raise their brows, and parents are adults, so it will be kind of hard for you to want to like one day wake up to change your mindset. And I believe that you can actually influence how they think by your actions. So your parents might not want you to be into science, but thanks to the world, thanks to the evolution of technology, we can have two courses. You can study digitally and still be going to school. My own, I believe when we always have this conversation, I just believe that you cannot change your parents. That's something we always know. But you can change the way they see you. You can change how they perceive you to be. And in the issue of parents training girl child to be a husband, is actually it's a daunting challenge. Like I was saying yesterday to a friend that we may have been lucky to come from a family that do not oppose girl child education. So my dad is not he's not opposing my education. He's like, go and study whatever you want. But we could still find that consciousness of being trained to be a wife and being a mother. So in other words, parents are not actually training girl child to be women in the society. They are being trained to be a wife and a mother. And how saddening and disheartening we can be. But as a girl child, for every girl child watching and listening to this, I just want to tell you that we all have the capabilities to become what we want ourselves. Our parents might not really have the idea due to past experience, but I think it's time to prove them wrong through our actions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Favor. You've spoken beautifully well. I'll come to Francis now. Francis, if you can see some of these messages on the screen, I'd like you to read a couple of them, and then I'll ask you my next question. Can you see the screen, Francis? Okay, let me read some of the messages then. I'll come to Francis. So this is from Yamsal Development. It says, "Good morning, thank you for the excellent work." And then Michael says, "This is factual. The first edition of the AGS was quite impactful." And yes, thank you, Michael. And we believe that the 2024 edition will be greater. Someone says the vibe. He says, "I agree with what Favor said. We need to include the adolescents themselves in decision making. Very, very, very important." Yeah, agree. This other message here is from the vibe. It says, "Good morning, everyone." So I'll come to Francis. Can you hear me, Francis?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so young boys and men play crucial role in terms of gender equality, in terms of even reducing gender-based violence and all of that. So in our world, how can boys and men contribute their quota in making sure that we have gender equality? Because come to think of it, even when girls don't want to do some social vices, you'll find that it's still the boys, it's still the young boys who teach girls how to maybe take drugs, how to stay out late, and all of that. What is the role that boys and young men can play in making sure there is gender equality? Are you there, Francis?
Um, yeah, can you get me?
Did you hear what I
Can you
said?
get me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I uh, well, in order for boys or young men to gain gender equality,
Please speak out a little more, Francis.
okay,
You need to speak out
in order
more.
for,
Okay.
can you get me now?
Yes, yes, go on.
Is this okay? Okay. In
Yes,
order
yeah.
for young boys or young men to help gain gender equality or to help support girls in order to reach gender equality, it is important to change the mindset because the mindset is one of the key things in order to help gender equality. Because having the mindset of being superior over girls um, can bring discrimination in society. So, in order to avoid that, we need to change our mindset of being superior over girls. That thinking what a girl can do, what a boy can do, a girl can do that. Let's have that mindset that what we as boy or young men can do, a girl also can do. And let's try to change the perspective of being superior over them in order to help gender equality. And also, like as I can say, gender equality is something very important wherever we find ourselves because it has been in the past that women or young girls have not been getting education due to traditional reasons or due to the past ages. But this is a new generation, wherein we can see there are things a boy or a young man can do, a girl can do also. Like we can see in this time, girls can play football, wherein if we normally say only boys should play football, but this time around we can see girls can participate in that also. So we can see that there is a vast changes. Not only ladies supposed to be in the kitchen, because as for me in my home, my mom always teach me that as a young man, I must know how to cook because it's helpful and it's very important. So, but before people say that kitchen is meant for ladies or young girls, that only a girl should go in the kitchen. But let's take, for instance, presently I'm in the university and I don't stay with my parents. I'm far from home. So if I don't know how to cook, who will be helping me doing that? I will have to be going astray in order to get food. But this is what we are trying to say that gender equality is very important because with gender equality, we can say everything is 50-50. When we say 50-50, everything must be equal. The role a boy can play, a girl should play that same role as well. And when we talk about education, it's important we educate girls because there is a saying, when you educate a lady, you have educated the nation. And it's very important for them to gain education. So I'm just trying to tell every parent out there, every man or every father, uncle, or guardian that they must prioritize education for girls and must stop the mindset of must change their mindset of saying girls' education must end in the kitchen or girls' education must end in a married home. Let me say, for instance, if you as a father or you as a young man have education, but the woman you are married into is illiterate, how will you cope with that home? So you see, these are things we need to think as young men. We cannot because giving them classes or thinking that they don't know try to change the mindset of young boys, men, or young um, adolescents in the society. And also, let's try to support girls, helping them in sharing experience, talking to them about life, try to help them when they are going astray, try to bring them closer to us, guide them that, oh, this is this that you should do. You should not do this. When you do this, you will go astray. Let's be a guardian partners to them. But let us try to be like a somebody that try to discriminate them, somebody that try to put pressure on them, because that's also what causes mental illness because there are times they go through this trauma, so they think that they are no more useful in society. So let me just go out of school. Let me try to find a way that I get married to a man that is working. But when you try to encourage them, give them the knowledge they need, try to guide them, try to help them, I think that will go a long way.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll bring in Lady Ame again. There's a very important discussion or contribution that someone just dropped in the comment section. I'd like you to read and then respond to it, ma'am. This is from Julius Gimba. So please read this, ma'am, and respond.
If the girl is included in decision making, it brings out the confidence in them, thereby making them outspoken. This can only happen when they are included, especially in the decision making of the family.
What do you have to
And I
say,
think
ma?
he's right. No, he's very right that the girls have to be included. It's for the good of everyone, and he's right that it has to start from the family. When you are born into a family where they allow you to express yourself, you grow up being very confident. You grow up knowing how to navigate the challenges in this life. We see a lot of girls falling pregnant at a very early age just because they don't have the skills, being manipulated because they don't have the skills. So when you raise your children, especially the girls, and I'll say, well, because we're talking about gender equality, there shouldn't even be any difference. The way you raise a boy, raise the girl like that. Let them jump around. Let them, learn how to swim, how to do things. Let them go to school, because tomorrow you don't know who that girl will become, and then you will need them to come and support you, but you haven't invested in them. Everything is about investment.
True, true. Before I go on to ask Francis and Favor, there's something I also need to also hear from you before we wrap up. A lot of times we talk about women inclusion, women participation in politics, and all of that. Where is the role of mentorship for established women to also trickle down their experience to young girls? Because we're finding a disconnect and a huge gap, you know. Very few times you find mentorship programs for it's more of maybe women to women, but we're forgetting that the young girls, the adolescents, are the ones that will form the next generation and then the next generation. What do you think about mentorship for older women versus adolescent girls?
It's a very critical issue that you raised, that we, the older influential women, need to serve as mentors. There are a lot of programs that are being done, but I think we need to do a little bit more and be more intentional about it. Sometimes the local organizations work mainly as a project. We have a project, we bring in some few girls, we do some activities, and that's all. That is not what will help the adolescent generation. We need to have a very comprehensive, a holistic programs that will help them, take them for years, and that will include the mentorship you are talking about from the older generation. So if we don't, we just project based and focusing only on activities to report to donors, we won't develop that generation. We really need to see how we build their capacity, bring in others to support them. And that's why the Adolescent Girls Summit is actually very relevant. It's a space where they not only learn, they connect with one another. They are able to share and find out that it's not only me. We are many in this West Africa going through sexual assault. I was surprised to see the adolescent from Guinea, from Sierra Leone, talking about sexual assault in the school and being so desperate and they didn't know where to go for help. But when they come together like that, then they realize that, oh, we can be a force. We can work together and then also challenge. And if we add to that the interaction with the older generation of women, also sharing their experience and supporting them, I think we will go a long way in breaking all these barriers to girls' rights and well-being. So during the Adolescent Girls Summit, we are going to have the First Lady of Liberia who will be there. We have the former Vice President of Liberia who has been a great supporter of the adolescent throughout this process. And when these adolescents look up to them, they see all these examples of how women struggle and they survive, and they are able to be role models. It will encourage the younger ones. So it's something that we encourage a lot, that our partners and other organizations should not just do tokenistic activities, but be intentional about how they want to build the capacity of these young people. That your impact is not the activity. Your impact is when you see that girl grow up to be an influential woman, then you know you have succeeded.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lady Ame. So I'll be bringing in Francis and Favor. I'll like to particularly ask Favor, what do you think, Favor, can be done? Lady Ame has said a whole lot that we need partnership. There's also mentorship that I asked her the question of. But as an adolescent, Favor, how can parents, organizations, local funders, and even the religious bodies, because sometimes when we talk about empowerment, we don't also remember that religious bodies have a huge stake to play. I think what some religious bodies, for instance, the church does is just have youth fellowship, youth meetings, and talk to girls and boys on spirituality and chastity. but they don't also look at the well-being of these children. Shockingly, adolescents, young girls, young boys are committing suicide because of mental health issues. People are not taking this issue serious. A child wants to talk about how they feel, they tell them, shut up, you're a small child, you don't know anything. So, Favor, what do you think people can do to support the adolescent to achieve their full potentials?
Thank you. Like Ame has literally said almost everything. So I'll just contribute to what Ame said. So when we hear support, sometimes our minds are geared towards financial support. And in as much as that is also a factor, I do not think that is a priority of every adolescent. Every adolescent wants to be heard. Every adolescent wants to be heard, and it's one thing for adolescents to talk. Like somebody said, communication is different from when somebody's talking and you're hearing, but when you're listening and able to understand what the person is saying. So if you ask every adolescent girl child, the reason why any adolescent girl child can open up to anybody, mostly an adult person, is because the person has proven that they can listen to this person. So I believe that the government, religious leaders, parents, funders can help adolescents achieve their full potentials by listening to them. And it's one of those things the Adolescent Girls Summit is doing. And that is why the Adolescent Girls Summit remains very relevant and very, very empowering to every adolescent girl child. I'll tell you for sure that when we were during the planning process of the Adolescent Girls Summit, a lot of adolescents were able to open up, even when we were in a group few, and it was kind of a very rare expression, because when adolescents are surrounded by adults, there's this restraint because of how the stigma that comes with expressing yourself when adults are around. But the adolescent girls were able to share deep experiences about themselves, and some of these experiences they shared were compiled as a blog and published in the Global Fund for Children blog, which is available on our social media pages. So yeah, that is what the Adolescent Girls Summit is literally doing. The summit is planned by the adolescent boys and girls, and because it is planned by the adolescent girls and boys, they actually know the issues. Like I said, I'm one of the adolescents representing my country, Nigeria. So I went for the regional planning meeting last year in December, and we were asked, so what do you actually face as an adolescent girls? It was kind of a rare question, because when it comes to decision makings, it's often what people think adolescents go through, but what the adolescent girls actually go through. And we had so many stories of what girls go through, and they all come up looking all smiley and happy. And some of these issues has become so um, prevalent that it's now becoming a norm. So people consider it as a normal thing. Like for a boy to harass a girl is considered very normal. Like, are you not a girl? It's supposed to happen. So I just believe that the religious leaders, parents, government, funders, policymakers can help adolescents achieve their goals. The moment they push the adolescents to the spotlight and let them be heard. Every adolescent girl wants to be heard. Every adolescent boy wants to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Favor. Can I come to Francis on the same question with Favor? But if you're seeing it in another light, it's fine. What do you think? How can parents, governments, and the religious bodies as well? What can they do to ensure that they support the adolescents?
Yeah, well, in order for parents, government, stakeholders to support girls in society or in the nation as a whole, first of all, parents need to teach their kids. In another words, because it has been a taboo for parents to educate their kids about comprehensive sexuality education, about menstrual hygiene. So it's hard time now parents begin to teach their kids about the harmful effect about sex, what sex can cause, and why is it not necessary for adolescents to be involved into sex at that early stage, and also in order for them to be teaching them how to take care of themselves, how to represent themselves out there, because parents have the greatest role in society, because you as a parent, you are the one that is bringing up your child up. So you have to play a great role. And for government needs to support in a way, like for example, because in Sierra Leone here, female genital mutilation is one of the key things that is affecting us or affecting every girl child. So in order for government to help support in things like that, because now governments are using it as a means of campaigning in terms of politics. They can use it as a means for them to gain power. Like for example, they will just go to a community. I will initiate 100 kids, so you will vote for me. I will pay everything. I'm responsible for them. So things like that need to stop in order to gain gender equality, or in order to help adolescent girls. Things like that need to stop. It's hard time government need to change the perception of involving girls into into female genital mutilation, and give them the space in order for kids or adolescents to participate in parliament, that we should give decision, because we are the best people that can say things we are facing in the society. Our parents can't say what we are going through, our teachers, we are the best people. We can say the things that we are facing. So let them try to give all adolescents the platform, just that we need guidance, because we might think we are doing the right thing, but it might not be right again in another way around. We just need guidance from teachers in schools, in the home, in our community, or wherever we find ourselves. Let's just be guided by parents, teachers, stakeholders, and let government try to support. And for donors that are working with NGO organizations, let them try to support financially. Like for example, we are more than 200 in the adolescent influential groups. Many wanted to attend this summit, but only few are granted the opportunity because of finance. So we need support in terms of finance, so that can help support other adolescents. And also there is one key thing very important that government should also implement, like in the hotels where normally we go around in the country, there must be sanitary pads, because it has come to the notice that most times when you go to the hotels, you see condom, yeah, which is meant for sex, but you will never see pad in such hotels. So it's hard time government start giving menstrual hygiene things that ladies or young girls need in a hotel, that will take care of their messes. Maybe it might not be, it might come unexpectedly. They might go to the hotel and just see their messes, how to take care of them. So they need those support in the hotels, not to go and buy them, because when you go to the hotels, or there are times they give condoms out for free. So it's hard time they try to support and try to be giving girls condom, let me say, sorry, not menstrual pads for in schools, hotels, wherever they think they is comfortable, or they need privacy. So that will help in order also to support girls mentally and health, in terms of health, because taking care of your body is very important also. So let's try to see how best government can help support in some of this menstrual pad. Try to see how best we can stop FGM, which is female genital mutilation or female genital cutting in the society. And let's try to support in terms of religious people, because like for some religions, they can say FGM is not prohibited. So it's hard time that pastors, imams, or sheikh need to be preaching about the harmful effects of these things, because some will think that if we say this now, we'll be losing our members and we'll be losing people in the church. It's hard time we start preaching the truth, because no matter what, when you say the truth, yeah, it might pain people, but when they go and they see that, yes, this is what this is really the truth, they will come back and say, oh yeah, I thank God for this, or I thank you, pastor, or I thank this individual for this thing that, or this great role they play. So I think this is how time we try to change the mindset, try to help girls work in order to support them in terms of finance, help them mentally, and giving them advice.
Thank you very much, Francis. As we wrap up now, I'd like to bring Lady Ame once again. I got a message here and I'd like to read it, and then you'll respond, and then we'll talk about what next after the summit. This is from Jibril Usman Ahmed, and it says, educating female children in need of education is of great importance, not just to them, but to the society as well. Public awareness of the negative outcome of depriving these future generations of mothers and leaders, breeders is in order. We all hope the message you are all trying to pass on is received and acted upon. Well done. This is from Jibril. Soma, what do you have to say?
No, we can only thank Jibril for contributing to uh, changing the mindset. This is Africa. A lot of our problems are linked to education. It's not money. We have all the money. We have all the resources. But Africa, we call ourselves poor, and I don't like that, because this where the resources are. This is where resources are, and we need the education to be able to tap into it. We need to invest not only in the formal education, but also the social, the mindset. Sometimes you go to a village and then you see the children eating raw rice, and in the meantime, they growing very tasty fruits, vegetables. And then you asking, but why are you giving only this rice to the child? He said, no, because the child, when they eat egg, for example, they will steal. When you allow them to eat meat, they will become this. And you're like, my goodness, where are we going with this? So that means education is very key. And sometimes they tell you, we just didn't know. We inherited some of this thing from our parents and we continue. But what we forget is that the foundation of life is childhood. And when we don't invest in that childhood, there's no way when the people grow up, we will change it. So what he's saying is very true. Education is very key. And for Global Fund for Children, we invest in education, not only the formal, we are not very in the formal, but then also the social, changing the mindset, helping our partners to educate the communities on what the benefits of investing in their children, trying to reflect on those negative stereotypes that are affecting the development of the children, especially the girls. So he is very right, and it's all of us. It's not only the funders, it's not only the government, it's not only the local organization, but wherever we are, we should look at ourselves as a change maker. If you are in your home, be a change maker. If you are in your community, be a change maker. If you are at school, be a change maker. Wherever we find ourselves. And a special message to the local organizations: don't work to tick the box. Work to change Africa. Invest in the adolescent, in the children. Don't just do activities. Make sure that you see them grow. You see them being role model, being great women, and be proud of that investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lady Ame. It's been very, very wonderful talking to all of you. But I'll just give everyone maybe 30 seconds to say their final words. But I'll also start with you. So what next after the summit? How are people like us who are also interested, who are not adolescents, who would like to come next time? Because from all the preparations, I've gone to the site and I've seen the beautiful things, and I'm like, God, why didn't I have this opportunity when I was an adolescent? So what next after the summit?
No, but Emmanuel, you've contributed greatly to this summit. And as we say, the summit is not just an event, it's a process that aims at bringing change and at making Africa where it's supposed to be. And you have contributed greatly to this whole process. We're very grateful to you. And so what's next? that since the event is not, since the AGS is not an event, it means that after the event, before, after, during, and after, it has to be connected. After the event, all that the young people will hear from them, their action plan, the discussion, the outcomes needs to be translated in the work that the partners are doing, need to be translated in the policies, in the programs that the government have. And we are really hoping that the government official who will be there will listen and will be able to take action. We're also hoping that the funders who will be there will also start looking as people who are worthy to be funded, that when you give them funding, they can make good use of it. We should stop thinking that the adolescents don't know what they are doing. They don't have the capacity. They are not intelligent enough. They are. I have seen how they can express themselves, how they manage money, even better than the adult. Far better than the adults. Some of the adults, we give them money from, they went and just misuse the money. But some of the young people we are working with, they manage, they have policies, they have rules, they make sure that they use the money efficiently. So the founders, all of us, after this summit, the summit is just the space for us to listen to them. And after that, we really hope that there will be action. But Global Fund for Children will continue to support the adolescent in their advocacy. We are not just stopping here. I want to also take the opportunity to thank all the partners who have been supporting this process. When the idea came, we said, it's not just for GFC to boast of something. It's the opportunity for us to rally everybody, to pool resources, to pool expertise. And that's how we went to different organizations and said, if you are working with adolescents, please sponsor them to come to the summit. So here I would like to thank African Women Development Fund, who believe in adolescent girls and were provided funding to support the summit. We want to also say thanks to Fund for Global Human Rights. A big thanks to Girls Not Bright, Nigeria, very effective in bringing their resources and working with us as a team to make sure that the summit is a success. We want to say thanks to UNICEF and UNFPA, who are providing not only financial sponsoring girls, but also an amazing technical support. And also here, our partners, French-speaking countries and English-speaking countries, and most importantly, to yourself. YOCEL is a youth organization that is specialized in organizing summits. Usually they are into older youth, but over the past 3 years, we have been working in focusing on adolescents, and they have been an immense support and inspiration to the young people. So we're very proud of the partnership that we have. We have other organizations, institutions, and funders who are also supporting. I just name a few, but without those support, we won't be able to make it. And we hope, because the adolescents have decided that it should be a biannual event, and that means that the next one will be 2026, and we will have much more support, like Francis said, because they want to come together. They want to amplify their voices, be a force to be able to push the government into action. So we are looking forward to continuing to support the adolescent and also work together with other partners so that 2026 will even be bigger and and more impactful. Thank you.
Wow.
And you
Thank
will
you
be
so much,
there,
Liz.
right, Emmanuel? You will
Yes,
be there in
God willing,
2026.
by God's grace. Thank you so much. So I'll quickly just give 30 seconds to Favor and then 30 seconds to Francis to say their final words. So Favor, what's your final word? Let us know.
Okay, I just have to say that adolescents have the capabilities to achieve every of their potentials if they are being supported properly. And the Adolescent Girls Summit is really debunking most of the myths young older people or misconceptions older people have about adolescents. And I also want to say that the Adolescent Girls Summit is the best experience that can happen to any adolescent girl and boy. So I really look forward to meeting how the adolescent girls that will be coming from different West African countries. I will be participating in the Adolescent Girls Summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me bring in Francis for your final words. 30 seconds.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you, Mr. Emmanuel, for this great privilege. Um, and again, I want to say to every young man, young boy, or every adolescent that we must try to change the mindset. It's very important, and it's hard time now. We change the mindset about girls. Let's know that what we are capable of doing, girls are capable of doing. And to the government, I want to say that the government must try to support in whatever means they know that they can support, and let them try to give space for adolescents in the parliament so adolescents can be able to make decisions on their own. And to the parents, I just want to say it's hard time we educate our adolescents, boys and girls, because education is important in this society. And to stakeholders, I want to say that you give your support to adolescents, give them ears, let them say what they are going through, and try to see how best you can support them. So once more, I'm Francis Emmanuel Ensa from Women Against Violence and Exploitation in Society, Wave Salon. So I want to say thanks to everyone that has been hearing us, and thanks for the time. Thanks to Amy for giving us this great platform. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully, after the summit, we'll still bring some of them back here with Lady Ame to talk about lessons learned and maybe share experience of what transpired for those of us who may not be there. There's also the virtual connections, which the flyers will be out, and we'll be putting it on our Shagalinku page and on the website so that everyone can participate as well. For those who couldn't go, they can participate. And it's a promise, God willing, we'll bring Lady Ame and a few of the adolescents who participated, and even have short clips of the event and put it on Shagalinku so that we just have excerpts from all of that. So I want to say to all the women, all the parents, all organizations, please build the life of your adolescents. You know, they are the future generations. Do more mentorships, impact in their lives. I hate situations where you go to functions or places and you hear older people tell younger ones, shut up, you know you are a child, you don't know anything, and all of that. We need to start building the capacity of our people. I'll quickly read a few messages here and then we'll wrap. We close the program. Time is really against us. But this one here says, and this is from China Obia. It says, the tables are shaking. It will be turned soon. Our adolescents are growing and their voices must be heard and their decisions heard. Thank you so much, Chini. You couldn't have said it any better. And then this is from Veronica Favor, and it says, congratulations to you all. And yes, congratulations to everyone, all stakeholders, participants, partners of this West Africa Adolescent Girls Summit. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. So, yes, I want to thank all my guests. Thank you. You've been amazing. I want to thank everyone who joined us from across the world. The videos will still be here on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Do keep the conversations going. Share, like, and let's keep moving. So once again, thanks to Favor from Nigeria, thanks to Francis from Sierra Leone, and thanks to our big mommy Lady Ame from Liberia. till we come your way again soon. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, urging you all to have a very wonderful Saturday and take care of yourselves. God bless you all and one love.